Hi, my name is Tyler Amos, and my topic is the 1906 Constitutional Revolution. In the beginning of the 20th century, there was a lot of political turmoil that created a new phase in Iranian history. This political turmoil is today defined as the Iranian Constitutional Revolution. The Constitutional Revolution lasted from 1905 to 1911 and was used to attack the royal autocracy. The Iranian citizens, politicians, and even some foreigners who were vested in Iran formed a coalition and attacked the royal autocracy by introducing a constitutional government. Of these people involved, there were many different ideas that contradicted each other on what the new government was to achieve. There were three main groups in this coalition: the traditional bazaar merchants, the ulama, which is a body of scholars who were authorities on Muslim religion and law, and a small group of radical reformers. The foreigners that were involved were composed of a small but active circle of European-oriented reformers, which consisted of aristocrats, civil servants, army officers, and some royal princes. The bazaar merchants were involved because they believed that the Shah's actions were offensive to their religion and their bank accounts. And the ulama were involved because they wanted less reform and more transformation, which they believed would increase their power. All of the protests that ensued during this time period were directed at the policies of Muzaffar al-Din Shah. When he became Shah, he faced the main problem of keeping the royal court in luxury, and to solve this problem, he reopened concession granting, where he sold the concession for oil to a Briton, William D'Arcy, in exchange for 16% of the company's annual profit. The Shah also had outstanding loans, which he had borrowed money from British, French, and Russian financial institutions. Instead of being responsible with his income, he wasted it on three highly offensive trips to Europe between 1900 and 1905. These actions motivated the reformers through patriotism and liberalism and made them believe that a constitutional government was key to building a strong and progressive Iranian nation. The first phase of the Constitutional Revolution began with a large protest in Tehran in December 1905 and ended in August 1906, when the Shah finally succumbed to protesters and signed a decree to the convening of a constitutional assembly, also known as the Majlis. This assembly met for the first time in October 1906 and drafted two constitutional provisions that completely restructured the political authority in Iran. The first provision, known as the Fundamental Law, reduced the power of the monarch by giving the elected legislative body final authority over loans, concessions, treaties, and budgets. And the second provision, known as the Supplementary Fundamental Laws, the rights of the Iranian citizens were defined, and legislation granted additional powers, including authority over appointment and dismissal of ministers. The ulama stated that the Twelver Shi'ism would be the religion of the state and that any new legislation would have to be reviewed by the Supreme Court of the Mujtahids to verify that it conformed with the Sharia. Only a year after Muhammad Ali signed the supplementary fundamental laws, he stated his counter-revolution in 1908. Ali sent the Cossack Brigade to close the Majlis, arrested and executed leading members of the Constitutionalists, and reestablished royal authority in Tehran. Not long after this, Iran turned into a civil war and had a lot of economic chaos. This civil war lasted for 11 months, and in the summer of 1909, two groups converged on the capital and restored the constitution. Amidst all the chaos, the central government was torn apart by internal disputes. Tribes began to refuse to pay taxes, and law and order fell completely apart in the rural areas. At this point, the British occupied the south and Russia the north, and threatened to occupy Tehran unless the government accepted an ultimatum demanding the dismissal of a newly appointed U.S. financial advisor. When the Majlis refused this proposal, the Russian demands were met, and the constitutional revolution was over. From all of this, the coalition of Bazaris, Ulama, and reformers broke down under pressures of governing, and the objective of reducing foreign presence in Iran was not achieved.